This ham and bean soup is a delicious and hearty soup that costs pennies to make. Hi everyone, Kristen here. As someone who suffers from a chronic disease, I believe homemade is best, but it doesn't need to be complicated. After the holidays, many of us are left with a ham bone. And what better way to put that ham bone to use than to make a delicious ham and bean soup? It's an old-fashioned soup that's filled with creamy white beans in a richly flavored sauce. And using the Instant Pot, we can make this soup fast, even if we start with dried beans. So let's get cooking. Start this recipe by turning your Instant Pot to saute, and we're gonna add in just a little bit of oil and let that heat. To my oil, I have 1 small minced onion, 2 stalks of sliced celery, and 1/2 cup of diced carrots. That's about 2 large carrots diced. We're gonna saute that up just until our onion begins to soften. Shouldn't take too long. Once my onion is about softened, I'm adding in 1 clove of minced garlic, and I'm going to just saute that just for 30 seconds, just so that I smell the garlic. We don't wanna burn our garlic. Garlic looks good. We're gonna hit cancel on our Instant Pot to turn off that saute function. And you know the drill. We've gotta scrape up the brown bits on the bottom of the pot anytime we use our saute function to prevent a burn notice from happening. So to my inner pot, I'm adding in 2 cups of low sodium chicken broth. It's so important that you use low sodium broth for this recipe as we're cooking dried beans. If you don't have broth on hand, go ahead and use water. And then we're just gonna scrape all those brown bits off the bottom of our inner pot. And then I'm adding in 4 cups of water, not broth. Because we're cooking dried beans, we don't want our cooking liquid to be overly salty, as the salt can interfere with our beans softening as they cook. To our cooking liquid, we're gonna add in 2 cups of rinsed white beans. No need to soak your beans. And now for that ham bone. If you don't have a ham bone, you can use a smoked ham hock, which is actually what I'm using today. And you just wanna nestle that into the cooking liquid. And then we're gonna dollop it with 6 of tomato paste. That's really gonna add a nice depth to this soup. Add in 2 bay leaves and a couple sprigs of fresh thyme. And that's it. We're gonna pop our lid on our Instant Pot. Make sure our vent knob is pointed towards sealed. And now to set cooking time. We're gonna cook on high pressure for 45 minutes. We really need that amount of time to develop the flavor of the soup and for our beans to soften. To set cooking time, hit manual or pressure cook. Use the plus or minus buttons to adjust until it reads 45. Once the cooking time has elapsed, you wanna let pressure release naturally on its own. And this can take up to 20 minutes, but it's really important as it keeps the texture of the beans intact and it doesn't cause hot liquid to spew out of your Instant Pot all over your kitchen and possibly burn yourself. Once the cooking time has elapsed, you wanna open up the Instant Pot. Smells so good in here. And now you just wanna remove your ham bone or your ham hock, and you wanna remove those bay leaves and sprigs of thyme as well. Now remember, we didn't add salt to our soup before pressure cooking because we were cooking dried beans. So we need to add our salt now. I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of seasoned salt. I'm just using my homemade blend of seasoned salt. If you don't have that on hand, you could certainly just use 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. We're gonna give that a good stir. And at this point, our soup is ready to serve. It's a nice brothy soup with hearty beans, and it's just the way I like it. However, my husband prefers this soup to be pureed a little bit, as that reminds him of Campbell's bean and bacon soup, which he grew up eating. And today, I'm gonna blend some for him. To do this, I'm just using an immersion blender, and then I'm just blending just a little bit of the soup to give it a nice creamy consistency, but I still want some of those beans to be intact. And then you can dish it up. I'm gonna go in for a bite here. Even blended, I love this soup. It's savory, it's earthy, it's really good, and we made it for pennies. And if you want to know how I make my Instant Pot ham, Be sure to check out my next video where I walk you through exactly how to make a delicious honey bake Instant Pot ham. Until then, happy cooking.